The third world is set to peak at about 8.5 billion. If you industrialize them and take care of them, they would actually naturally not have as many children. So the globalists are tyrannical and abusive, and the nature of power is that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, as Lord Acton said in your parliament. But expanding on that, the architects of world government are anti-democratic, anti-freedom, anti-property rights for the general public. They want a global socialist superstate to steal the middle class's wealth and feed it into their hands for centralization and monopoly of power. And these are the people who openly write publications bragging how they put sodium fluoride that rots holes in our brains in the water to make us more malleable and go along. These are the people that openly funded Hitler, Stalin, and Mao. David Rockefeller bragged in 1976 in the New York Times how they put Mao into power and how great he was and how they loved what he did in the Cultural Revolution, killing 60 million people. David Rockefeller, the head of all this, just 4 years ago published his own autobiography bragging that he is trying to bring down the United States and set up world government. So that's the contempt they have for the public, is they openly talk about how much they can't stand us and how they want to come back as a deadly virus to kill 80% of us. And they openly brag about how they're going to control us and how we're scum and trash. So the world government is run by the most control freak, savage people with no checks and balances that anybody could imagine. National sovereignty is a firebreak or is a bulkhead, a fire door. It's something to stop the Hitlers, the Stalins, the Maos, and others. But you have a world government. Then, let's say the world government was nice when it was first set up. Through total centralization, nothing could oppose it. Nothing could challenge its mistakes. Nothing could challenge any evil it carried out. This is what Hitler wanted. Everybody else has wanted a new world order, a global empire dominating humanity. I can't think of something worse.
But isn't it's back to where I started on this, Alex Jones? Is Barack Obama not going to solve all of this? This is the man that's Kennedy-esque. Kennedy, the great speech he gave about being against secret societies, Obama seems to chime more with him. Is he the man not to repeal things like the Patriot Act, to make sure America goes back to being that good old friendly nation of apple pie and Walt Disney, and we can all love the United States again and fear not?
He's going to be friendly.
He's a nice man, Alex.
Yeah, as he massively increases the Predator drone attacks, doubles the troops in Afghanistan, and now says they're never going to leave Iraq. Okay, let's go through the facts. Again, all of this is documented at theobamadeception.net, theobamadeception.net, or Infowars.com. My film has a bibliography. Everything that's in the film, every video clip, every document, every bill, every article is linked on that site in the About section. So there is a viewer's guide, bibliography. He said he wouldn't hire one lobbyist. He pledged no more business as usual. All he hired was top lobbyists. He said he was against the banker bailout. Turns out Geithner, formerly at the head of the Federal Reserve in New York, wrote the thing and ordered Bush to implement it. Turns out he says he's against the record bonuses to CEOs at the brokerage firms that got bailout money. Turns out he signed the executive order allowing it and ordered Senator Dodd to add it to the bill, AP Bloomberg report. He said that he was against warrantless wiretapping and secret arrest and no rights for detainees. Now, according to even MSNBC and Bush's biggest critics, they're coming out and saying he's worse than Bush on secret arrest and rendition, worse than Bush on the war, worse than Bush. He has introduced a bill through Senator Jay Rockefeller that even Mother Jones magazine, big liberal magazine, says is total end of the Fourth Amendment, spying on everything without warrants, total control. Barack Obama has announced youth brigades, tattletale squads, a new 1 million-man domestic spy force, same stuff England's getting, just a scaled-down version because you're less people over there. Just on and on and on and on. Barack Obama is the New World Order's closer. He's there to neutralize people, to be slick, to make them feel like everything's okay. Henry Kissinger brags that Obama is going to help bring in the New World Order because of the people's perception of him worldwide. He is nothing but a Madison Avenue fraud so that the bankers can stall the public long enough to loot $12.8 trillion, that's our GDP, by the way, in 6 months, $12.8 trillion, more than $10 trillion stolen from Europe and England in the last, so that's 20 $2.8 trillion total, all to offshore private banks. And then our governments have to pay interest to the banks. We pay them taxpayer-backed money, and then they loan it back to the governments at interest. We are going into total serfdom, total bondage, total slavery right now. The globalists are bragging in their policy reports that we've lived too well, we hurt the environment, that they're doing this on purpose. I have the World Bank documents from 2006 where they brag that in 2009 they would bring in the World Depression to teach us not to live as well. This is all designed to make you bankrupt slaves so you're fully controlled by the government. And now Gordon Brown announces, I love the Orwellian statement in the London Telegraph. He says, I'm going to make you volunteer. That's 1984. Compulsory volunteering. You must volunteer. Just like under Stalin. Same thing happening in Australia. Same thing in Canada. Same thing in the U.S. The exact same names of the programs. All done with precision. This is the world government.
Alex Jones, stay with us, sir. We're going to take a short pause. We're back with more. If you've got a question you want to put to Alex, 08717 223344. His shoulders abroad. If you're not agreeing with much of what he says, that's fine. But make sure you've got a sound argument to go against him, because he's bound to be laden with a bunch of facts that you might not have anticipated. Beware of all of that, and call us now on that number. Email talksport.net. Text on 81089.
The world's hardest radio station.
You do a bit of a pasting today?
All other radio is for housewives and little girls.
Are you ready for programming?
Talksport.
And I believe it will also be said of this age, the first decade of the 21st century, that out of what will be seen as the greatest restructuring of the global economy, perhaps one even greater than at the time of the Industrial Revolution, a new world order was created.
Hey, that's our own Prime Minister, Gordon Brown. Alex Jones, what's going on? Even Gordon Brown's in on it.
Are you kidding? Gordon Brown created the G20. They literally kneel before him in the European Parliament and thank him for bringing in their world government. They talk about how they're going to set world taxes at above 80% worldwide, how no one will be able to escape, how they're going to be able to force the one-child policy through. I mean, here's the Council on Foreign Relations. Our talk show host, when I was first on air 14 years ago in the U.S., would attack me saying this group didn't exist. It's Council on Foreign Relations, CFR.org. This is the real government in the United States. British intelligence in 1922 set this up. And again, it's not the British people doing it. It's that model of empire. And they merged with the U.S. elite. And that's what you now hear all over the news is this Anglo-American New World Order. And they went and paid off the Congress, paid off the bankers, everybody, got them on one team. They're now 4,000 members. And here's May 1st, 2008, and they write this stuff every day. It says International Institutions and Global Government Program, and it goes on to say International Institutions, Global Governance Program, World Order in 21st Century, a new initiative of the Council on Foreign Relations. See, everybody's saying, Alex, everything came true you talked about. How did you know this was going to happen? Are you psychic? No. These people have bragged about all of this. They're bragging about what they're setting up. And, I mean, look at this. Times of London. UK population must fall to 30 million, must be cut in half. Jonathan Porritt, one of Gordon Brown's leading green advisors, is to warn that Britain must drastically reduce its population if it is to build a sustainable society. Now they want a water footprint. Now they want a carbon footprint. Now they want to look at what's in your house. Now they want to look what's in your refrigerator. This is the parasite class, and they brag in the Club of Rome documents, 1991, that it's all fake. There's real environmental crises. They're ignoring that. This carbon tax is a tax on the carbon cycle. We're carbon-based life forms. On everything plants breathe, everything we exhale, to micromanage and selectively enforce and control everything. And I'm telling you, folks, I've read the globalist documents. They plan on releasing controlled bioweapons plagues to kill the majority of the population once their global government's in place. Global government is only an electronic straitjacket to get everybody tied down so they can then basically take us out. Hitler got his ideas from the U.S. and England. Everything is eugenics. Everything they do is eugenics. Google the Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation. And when you go and read their own minutes, they were founded to carry out eugenics. Eugenics is everything. And then you read this headline, French news agency, health workers on trial for vaccine scam in Poland. Drug companies told them to give the homeless the shots, telling them it was a regular flu shot, when it was really live bird flu, killing them. Okay, this is the type of news that I have here in front of me. This is the type of information that is there for everybody to see. But because the globalists are so wicked and so evil and it's so horrible that it's hard for people to believe it.
Why do they want to drop the population if there's more financial interest in having a large population?
No. Look,